I want to turn to my new compadre from the NFL Network and a future Hall of Famer himself, three-time All-Pro, and a guy who, again, I would say, even if he didn't join the NFL Network, as I said in the first hour, he's going to be a star on television. He's Steve Smith. How are you, Steve?
Hey, how you doing, co-worker?
Co-worker. That's right. Good to get right back at you, co-worker. What do you think about T.O. not making the Hall of Fame, Steve?
Well, first off, you got to look at it. I have to tread very lightly because I'm also one of those guys who, depending on who you ask, on some of the media, that I think personally they want to stick it to him. I think if you want to say off-the-field things, and I'm just going to be straightforward like I always am, there are a number of Hall of Famers who had numerous off-the-field issues that were 10 times worse, detrimental to their team and detrimental to them individuals, and also would be probably detrimental to some of their families, some of the activities that they did, but they still made the Hall of Fame. So that's my personal and educational opinion based on reading information over the years of other people and some of the arrests and some of the things that they transpired, and yet T.O. hasn't had any of those things. So I find it very interesting that the people with the pen decide to I think if you're going to decide to stick it to someone with a pen because maybe they didn't give you the interview you decided, I think we should start delegating and withdrawing some of those voting privileges if you're not going to be biased, in which, according to being in the media, you're supposed to be non-biased.
Well,
so
some of the people who voted, just to give you a little bit of what they would say upon hearing this, okay, is that some of them didn't vote for T.O. because other teams that had him at the height of his excellence, and which you and I think we can agree is Hall of Fame excellence, that they got rid of him because he was such a problem in the locker room, and that happened multiple times, and that's why they voted against him. They're not saying, even though it might be deep down, the fact that they walked up to his locker and he put him on a pay no mind list, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say hearing that? Because you didn't have that. Sometimes you might have been a little bit surly when somebody came to your locker, but you didn't get sent from one team to another because of the so-called cancer.
No, I mean, when you say that, I agree. But when you're looking at a man's whole body of work, and the Hall of Fame is based on your whole body of work, and the guy, at some point, there is a guy in the Hall of Fame in this year's or last year's who T.O. is above.
In terms of his numbers?
It's in terms of his numbers statistically.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think T.O.'s I'm pretty sure he's in the top 5,
He is?
Top 4. If T.O.'s in the top 4 and you got a guy in there that's in the top 30, I know I went to public school right there in Los Angeles, but last time I checked, there are about 25 different in statistics.
Mm-hmm. Steve Smith joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, let's turn our page to the Super Bowl. What were your? If I had to give you a shot to just say what caused the Falcons to lose that game, what would you say, Steve Smith?
Sometimes being the smartest guy in the room isn't necessarily mean you're the smartest guy in the room. When you look at what has transpired between the second half and the first half, and you look at what they didn't do and what they did do, they ran the ball, I think, maybe 5 times. When you have a lead like that, you extend the lead, and you extend the lead by scoring points and matriculating the ball down the field. You cannot matriculate the ball down the field by trying to throw it 1 trillion times. And this is a wide receiver talking. But you got to run some clock off. You can't do that. I don't care who was playing. They could have been playing another AFC team. They had that game won, and they gave it away. So every player on that team woke up on Monday, and it was a lot of 4-letter words. Because I got up and I said, Dang. I mean, let's be honest. If the New England Patriots, one of them woke up and said, appreciate it. Thank you. and now, being an analyst,
yeah,
you don't go into the San Francisco 49ers and go, this is my guy, this is the guy who tricked off the Super Bowl. He's my head coach now. Hey, I mean, I'm not trying to hurt any feelings, but at the end of the day, when you up 28, 21-3 at halftime, you tricked that off.
Steve Smith joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Well, I mean, I guess the 49ers weren't going to just go ahead and say, I mean, this thing, they already made their bed before the Super Bowl.
You're a billion-dollar industry. The hell you can. They've done it before.
Where you would just, so if you're the 49ers, you're Jed York, after seeing what transpired in the fourth quarter, you would have reversed course and basically.
Here's the answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you hiring a new head coach? To win what?
The Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Did he win the Super Bowl?
Well, they were close.
Horseshoes and hand grenades, that only counts in.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. I mean, here's the thing, though, right? I mean, Matt could have thrown it away, checked out of the play. I mean, isn't it a team situation, though, Steve, when it comes down to it? I mean,
it is a team situation, but Matt Ryan checks out of what he has checks for, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a play that comes in from someone, and then as a quarterback, you have options that were given by someone, and you check into those plays based on what that someone has given you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not throwing it all on Matt Ryan, but I'm also not taking it off of the offense coordinator either now.
So when it all comes down to it, now Shanahan is in San Francisco, Steve. Steve Sarkisian was just announced by the Falcons as the replacement as offensive coordinator. And I'm wondering what the paid professionals who are in that locker room might be thinking of a guy with little experience, with some success at the collegiate level and some baggage, that this is the guy that the Falcons organization within 48 hours of all this is saying to the locker room, he's the guy to dial up the plays to get us back. What do you think the thought process is amongst the players in the locker room on that, Steve?
I think they have their one eye open, one eye closed. You know, I think there's a defensive squad that is questioning offense and offense questioning defense. And I think you really have to take the temperature. You have to cool things down because things are hot right now. I mean, they have to be. You don't go that far and have a complete malfunction, meltdown. I mean, what they did is they had this girl that they've been talking to. You met her at the Starbucks, and you just built up all of your stuff. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna drop my cojones today. I'm gonna talk to her. You went and talked to her. You forgot to deposit your paycheck in your bank account, and you go to the ATM before the date. And guess what? You have no money in your account. You are up a creek without a paddle. That's what they did. You said it earlier. 5-hole? Oh, yeah. No action tonight.
So I'm trying to follow your venti logic here right now. So my coworker, so they're not pleased with the concept of Sarkisian, or they're thinking maybe it'll work, or
I think everybody is second guessing because at the biggest game with all the marbles, they didn't show up. And it's not necessarily the players that. I think it's a community effort. You win as a team, you lose as a team, right?
Sure.
You have great play calls and you have bad play calls. You have great performances and you have people who didn't show up. But you can't necessarily say that team didn't show up. They did. But somewhere along the line, it didn't work out. And it isn't all fault. It isn't all faulted on players, though. You know, I think what's interesting is players get fired for not performing, And coaches, when they don't perform, they get to throw a player under the bus, then the player gets fired. Where's the accountability for the coach?
Last one for you, Steve. Steve Smith, my compadre from the NFL Network right now. More impressive catch. The catch that impressed you more, the Julio Jones one or the Edelman one? Which one?
They both were impressive. Julio Jones, be able to keep his feet in, catching the ball, and Edelman, him doing that as well. They were both, when you're on every team has done, you grow up as a kid saying, I want to do that, and you emulate that. I said it, Julio Jones is not just special. I think Julio Jones is the most complete receiver in the NFL right now. And some people could say, well, I'll take this guy because he has this. I said complete. He can run over you, through you, out jump you, and out physical you, beat you at the jam. He just does so many things that you can't pigeonhole him. You have to double him. And even when you do, look at the things he did.
Last one for you then. More impressive catch, one by the number 11, Edelman, or Julio Jones, or Lady Gaga at the end of her performance, going down to the ground and maintaining possession, Steve?
I think maintaining possession, because that could have went a whole different area. Yeah. Like drop, miss, bloody nose,
Well, plus, the danger of getting into that mosh pit right by the stage of a halftime performance, because you were one of the extras to rush the stage for the Michael Jackson halftime at Super Bowl 27 at the Rose Bowl. Correct, Steve Smith? Yes?
That is correct. I was part of the halftime thing. That was pretty cool.
Wait, what?
True story. So you had one of those colored shirts on or something? You ran out there. How old were you for that one, Steve?
I was in the 7th grade.
Okay.
So they had this thing. It was there in Los Angeles. It was the Urban League, and the Urban League was to help kids, because my mom worked, and so help kids after school study and all that stuff, and teach them how to manage their time better. And it was a neat program that the Urban League does. And because of my participation and the results of my grades, I was an A or B student doing that, and that was the reward at that time. So it was us and other kids, and so I got to participate in it, and it was awesome. And I remember LA Gear had gave us some shoes and all that stuff, and it was a pretty cool event.
And then you were front row to see Michael just stand out there?
I was front row, and one of the things we got to do was actually at Kennethon Park, we got a surprise lunch visit by Terry Bradshaw. And Terry Bradshaw, when I was in 7th grade, was throwing me bombs, catching. I remember he said he signed a football for me, and he said, you keep doing that, one day you play in the NFL. So I left this football, and I literally remember a football got flat one day, and we needed a football. And I love football. I didn't really look at autographs the way I look at them now.
No. Come on.
Yes, I did. Wiped it off and went and played ball with that ball.
Oh,
that's like the Babe Ruth ball from The Sandlot.
How about this? My mom found out what I did to that ball.
Uh-huh.
The look and the action did not line up. Because if it did, I never probably would have made it here.
Oh, my gosh.
She looked at me and just walked away.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Oh, Steve, it's going to be fascinating working with you, man. We're going to pull all these stories out and have a good time. Thanks for calling in.
Appreciate it.
Always. That's Steve Smith.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.